So fractions in simplest form. What we need to recognize here is that all we are doing ever to simplify a fraction is writing an equivalent fraction that is basically there are no common factors in the numerator or denominator. So if we look at 6 over 8, we can recognize pretty quickly that those are both even numbers, and so they are divisible by 2. So if I want to write 6 over 8 in what we call simplest form, what you may have heard some teachers refer to as reduced in the past or something similar, what we need to do is say, okay, what numbers go into both 6 and 8? And sometimes it's helpful to think of what's the biggest number that goes into both 6 and 8. For now, I'm just going to stick with any number that goes into 6 and 8. And so I notice that 6 and 8 are both even, so I can divide those both by 2. And if I divide them both by 2, I get the fraction 3/4. And then I look at 3 and I look at 4 and I say, hey, are there any numbers that 3 and 4 are both divisible by except for the number 1? And the answer is no. And so that fraction is now in simplest form. The fraction 3/4 is equivalent to the fraction 6/8, meaning it has the same meaning. And if we were to shade a figure and shade 6 out of the 8 pieces, we would shade the same amount as if we shaded 3 out of the 4 pieces. Those fractions are the same, they have the same meaning. It's just written in its most basic, simplest form. So 10/12 is our next one. As with the first one, I noticed that they are both even. And so I could try to find a number that's larger than 2 that would go into both of them, but I know that there isn't one. So 10 divided by 2 is 5, 12 divided by 2 is 6. And so again, we're just dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number to produce an equivalent fraction that is simplified. Okay, and I was hoping we would get one that wasn't going to have 2's as a possibility, and we just got one. So we need to look at 10 and 15 and say, okay, 10 is even, but 15 is not, so 2 will not work. We need to think, what's a number that goes into both 10 and 15? And that number is going to be 5. So 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2. 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3. So the fraction 2/3 is equivalent to the fraction 10 over 15. We got the same one again. And so we will take a look at this one. 9 over 15. We see that neither one of them are even, so 2 will not work. And we try to think of a number that goes into both 9 and 15, and the number that comes to my mind is the number 3. So 9 over 15 simplified, 9 divided by 3 is 3, 15 divided by 3 is 5. 9/15 is equivalent to 3/5. Okay, and that's going to be it for this one.